Hey guys, what's going on? Chris with Innovation Multimedia. We're here at SuperNationals 19 at the Las Vegas Convention Center, the final round of the Fixie Wheels Pro Tour. Tom Kutcher, SKUSA CEO and principal, has been interviewed many times throughout the weekend by various media channels and websites. However, one of the things that we felt would be interesting is to get Tom Kutcher on camera, talking a little bit about some of the rumors and allegations and speculations that you may have heard throughout the paddock. Full disclosure, I am paid by Superkarts USA and some of their partners like IAME and MG Tires and Avinco and so forth. So I am not a journalist, not saying I'm a journalist, and this isn't meant to be a hard-hitting interview. What it is meant to be is just to get Tom, in his own words, to reflect a little bit about some of the things that you may be hearing about and to give a little direction about the future of Superkarts USA in 2016 and beyond. Before we dive into some of the controversial stuff, just figured some of you may not even know how Tom really got into Superkarts USA, what the backstory is and how he kind of came into actually owning the series and that sort of thing. So I figured I would let Tom kind of give the short answer of kind of how he got into the sport a little bit and that sort of stuff. So Tom, how did you get into karting in the first place?
Well, I watched it, I think the first time, I got into it in Spain when I was a young kid. I got a chance to rent a kart once or twice with my brother, and I loved it when I was 12 or 13 at the time. But I just couldn't afford it. It wasn't in the cards at the time. One day I was out on my 600 Ninja or something like that, driving down Huntington Beach, late 80s, early 90s, and they were running a race down on the beach, and I stopped and I just said, whoa, these guys are flipping nuts. And it was badass. Went to a shop on Beach Boulevard. Don't have to mention any names, but when I got there, just didn't get the treatment that I wanted. I had the money at the time even. And after that, for my birthday when I turned 30 or 32 or 30, somewhere in there, me and my brothers got together and we did a thing at Imago down in California, and he timed us, Peter did, and got us going, and that was it. I said I was, at the time it was a 100cc rental Yamaha or something like that, and a shifter went by me. And I just want to know, what in the hell is that? And it went, bah, bah. It just went by me like I was standing still. And after that, I just started doing my research, and I asked the guy. I went straight up to him, and I said, man, this is going to be a whacked out question. I said, but I get the gears. I got the shifting from motorcycle background. So anyway, and he said, hell yeah. He said, do a couple laps and come back in. Well, he had to flag me back in. He actually had to go in and stop me. And after that, it was over.
And to go from something like that to actually owning your own kart shop, I mean, probably a few things happened between then and now, but what was that like? I mean, just to kind of take that leap of faith and say, I like this so much that I want to try to make a business out of it.
Yeah, it was my best business move, period, but I did it because of the passion, and I raced at the same time, so of course with that comes a loss. You can't run a business and race. It's like a cocaine dealer. He doesn't do the drug, he sells it, right? If he does it, he loses, right? So that's the drug. I did it, started something called Extreme Karting. We went, me and Shane Shipley and Tony Alves, and Alan Shuda, Ron White, Jason Bowles, and it goes on and goes on and goes on. We were the CRG team. We were a private labeled CRG team, and I get it, that's why I'm so passionate about it, and that's why I understand it. The margins got to be there, stuff's got to be there, and try to help these guys to make money, because it's a really, really, really tough end. It's an awesome business, but it's small margins, and it's tough to make it. And more than anything else, I want to point out, to be legit, okay? We got too many trunk slammers, and the trunk slammers know I'm not big on them because I don't sell them tires, I don't do stuff like that. And the other kart shops don't know that, maybe not appreciate it, but I paid for insurance, I paid for workman's comp, and all these guys that do that, there's very little left after you get 25% on a product.
Yeah, it's funny, a lot of people asked the question, well, how did you and Tom end up working together? And the short of the story is, when I first met you, you were doing a grand opening for Extreme Karting. And I didn't really know who you were, and you said, Chris, I want to do something totally off the wall. I want to give away 2 karts, make it the biggest, baddest open house thing in the world. We're going to have parking lots, we're going to have, people, demonstrations and stuff like that, and you've always taken it to that next level. And that's one thing I've appreciated about you, is just you've always kind of gone in your own direction, and you think larger than the status quo, and I think that's carried over for quite some time, everything that you've done.
but I think that at the time the industry is ready for new blood anyway. I mean, if you look back there, we had IKF that was very huge, and we had WK that was huge, and it was all volunteers and so on and so forth. I wanted to, because I was successful in my business that I was doing otherwise, and I ran this other karting business and put the money, my savings into it because I wanted to run it in a totally different way. And good, bad, or other, I understand, what it is to be on that side, and that's why it's so important to work with these shops. And like you said, we would be the first ones with crazy advertising, crazy. I mean, we were one of the first ones with our own custom, pods and custom colors. You designed everything. We had our own T-shirts, and we grew the team into actually the largest team
of the year.
It was team of the year.
Team of the year.
So I mean, it was really, really cool. And how I got into this was at the time is we had some local SKUSA stuff, we had some local stuff, but we had over 30 carts in the shop at one time, and things were really slowing down. So I called all my competitors in the karting stuff and said, hey, I think I want to start something up here to get something going, to get some product moving. Yeah, and here we are.
Yeah. And walk me through a little bit. So you started the ProCar Challenge in 05, I believe it was. And the concept back then, I remember, it was you want people to have fun racing again. And I think that the politics and the drama and the engine format, you kind of just whittled it down to say, let's make it simple, let's make it fun, let's get lots of track time. And in a lot of ways, that's guided you even till now.
And I think that, when we used to race, somebody ran the local SKUSA stuff here, and we said, well, hey, let's go pro kart. But I did it differently. They like to take, and I get it. They were doing this for fun, but they would spend 2 hours on a lunch on a barbecue, and then and I was like, if I want a barbecue, I'm gonna barbecue at home. I'd love to barbecue behind the trailer, but it's gonna have to be somebody else. So I implemented laps. I wanted somebody to be laying down at the end of the trail going, holy shit, I'm done for the day. So we try to implement 60 to 80 laps a day and get the money's worth, right? And that's why I always tell people, they're like, well, you guys are a little more expensive. I go, really? I said, just do me a favor, break down the laps, divide it by entry numbers, or the dollar amount. Tell me where you're at. Are you $3 or are you $4 or are you at $6? So it was just giving the most amount of laps possibly able to squeeze into a day.
And from there, tell the story of how SKUSA came to be yours. You're doing the ProCar Challenge, and I remember Janowski was kind of involved, and you kind of took a trip, and it's...
the short version is, the honest truth is, took a trip, Janowski called me up, and he had some people that wanted to take it over, and they were grinding him down and trying to make it into nothing. He called me up, and I'm like, why the hell would I want your company? At the time, he had just kind of paid off his bills to, at the time it was Bridgestone, and it was the Rio, and he did it right. He said, Tom, I'm just paying this thing off, and I'm out of here, right? This is not my gig. My money's in insurance. And he called me, he goes, would you be interested? I'm like, no, I don't think so. It's done, right? It's over with.
Right.
But then I also remember what it was to pull into Oklahoma to what they call the World Finals. I don't know why it was called the Worlds, but we pulled into Oklahoma. Everybody's high-fiving each other and having a beer. And at that late age, we started G1. I was part of starting G1. I was one of the first G1 drivers. But being able to race something at that age, 35 I think it was at the time, and being able to do that was such an honor. And I think that sat with me, and it sat with my heart, what the feeling was to pull into that, or to pull into the SuperNats. I get goosebumps just thinking about it. When I used to pull into the SuperNats, it was badass. It was just like, holy shit. You'd almost sit out the whole year just to go to the SuperNats, right? And there's a lot of people that do today. Look at Bonner with number 19. Right. I think Howie Idelson hasn't missed one either. Them all. Yeah, they raced them all.
And a lot of people don't know that you raced this thing. You finished on the podium. No, that's not an easy feat to do.
No, it wasn't. We battled it out, and I'd be top 3 in the country, top 5 in the country, whatever it is. And it was, a lot of people don't even know I raced. Like, oh, you used to race? I'm like, no, I just did this and I flipped a coin and here I am. So that's the whole thing about this. It's the whole way up the ladder. getting here where I am today comes from the love of driving a cart. And I'm a huge shifter guy, you know. I just, you know, still when I hear him, we stood here a couple minutes ago, watched 4 Mile just put it to him.
Put the whooping.
You know, put a whooping on him. But, you know, when those things are smacking and they're popping and they're, you know, I love it. I love it.
So with owning SKUSA, of course, you have a business to think about. It for a lot of these guys to come here to the track and this is their hobby, it's their passion. But for you, it's how you feed your family. It's how you put food on the table. And in my opinion, again, take it for what it's worth. It's difficult because sometimes people think because it's their hobby, it needs to be your hobby. But you've got to make a business at this. It's got to make financial sense. And some of the decisions that you've made, people call into question. And for instance, the Miami deal or the Iveco deal. Let's just start at the beginning. The Iveco. Let's start with that because that's probably the hot button these days. Why Iveco and what's the origin of it and kind of how it all came to be?
I mean, I've been with MG for many, many years, and I'm actually one of the forefronts of MG, and I made MG what it is today together with SKUSA. And when people came from all over Europe, they used to say, why can't we run these tires back home? Well, guess what? They're all over the world today. They're, I think, the largest karting tire, out there. With that said, I did business with Wagner for a long, long time, and it came down to a series this U.S. Open series wanting to run on MG, which I fully understand because they wouldn't get anybody else. If they went on Bridgestones or anybody else, they wouldn't get anybody, so they went out and said, well, at least we'll get the MGs. We might get our 30, 40 guys. And to be quite frank, I said he went with 40 drivers to supply 40 drivers, over 8,000 sets. It was his business decision. It was his deal. I was there, and I wasn't going anywhere. And I've been with the Marcelo and Gianfranco for a long time, and with Wagner, it's been great. But he made a decision, and I asked him not to. I said, hey, you can't. Sometimes you just can't sell Fords and Toyotas at the same place.
Sure.
And he made that decision, and he's got to pay for it today. That was his deal.
So it was a respectful move, as I know, but obviously the people at home don't. But you were very tactful about how you did it, and you said, hey, if that's the direction that they want to go, I totally understand. And you had certainly entertained invitations from other manufacturers to consider their tire. And you were approached by Marcelo and Gianfranco, and let you kind of tell a little bit of how that went down.
Yeah, I mean, so people understand, everybody's like so quick and feeling sorry for somebody. Don't feel sorry for somebody that's made $300,000 a year off. I mean, don't. Okay, it's just business, and I was with them for a long, long time. But, the bottom line is this, they, we went out and we tested a lot of tires, and I got to be quite honest with you. I didn't find anything that even was close. And I started getting a little scared, but I was not going to go out and go around Wagner's importership because that's his deal. They struck a deal, and I respect that, and that's how I do business, believe it or not. Everybody thinks I'm some kind of snake, but it's like, no, I did not contact them. They came to me, and they flew out to Indiana. I said, we're not getting a divorce. We're figuring something out. We don't know what it is yet, but we will not go against you. And, I sat down with them, and I told them, I said, you will feel it. I mean, we have a large support, and we're growing, and this is what we do for a living. So I think they did a very smart business move, and we designed a brand that's going to be with us for life. And I'm here now, together with you. We designed the Iveco tire, and that's what we're going to be on from here on in.
And shifting gears, so the Miami thing, a little similar story there. You've found these partners that you kind of see as long-term partners. You can grow with and do certain things. Some of the criticism is, well, hey, it's an Miami-only deal, and if I have this engine or that engine, it's not open. But there's a clear method to the madness. The Miami deal is a great deal. I'll let you kind of elaborate on that, but it's a sealed format. It's something that's going to stand the test of time, and it's good for competition.
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at the Rotax program, right? I think they were genius 5, 6, 7 years ago when they marketed it because everybody wanted to go to the Worlds, right? But the difference there was, now they're the importers, they're the promoters, they're the motor supplier. Folks, there's no difference.
Right.
Okay, there's no difference.
And to be fair to them, they do a good job. That's their thing.
Absolutely.
Great event.
And they market, if you go look at the worlds, how how things are marketed.
Top notch.
Top notch, no doubt about it. But the difference is when I went to Miami, they make the motor for me and to my specs. You're the American person right here, Bombardier tells you this is what you're selling, and guess what? It's going to have this cylinder and this cylinder this year, and it's going to have this Evo program this year. If you had the same motor that you had 6 years ago, you're probably $6,000 into it more today. So with that said, and looking at the mistakes that they did, I went to IAM and I said, hey, we're not touching this motor. We're not changing the color of the air filter for 7 years. I said, 7 years, can you give me that? They said, we can give you that. And it's been 5-6 years left on it. But for the customer that's sitting there wondering what they're going to buy, you buy an X30 today, it's the same X30 you're going to run. And another thing that I think is huge is what we're going to implement for next year is, there's going to be a claiming rule on everything. We're not going to run a $15,000, $20,000 Rotax motor that might not be good a week later. Right?
Yeah, and let's talk about that a bit. So, just for those that aren't aware, claiming rule is just as it implies. If I come off the track and I think, hey, there's something special about that engine, I can claim it. I want that engine.
And if you, the person, by the end of this weekend, you can claim it with a tech director, okay? Every motor is going to be another $800 to $1,000, what it is typically retail for the inconvenience to go prep it or fix it or whatever it might be. But everything's going to have, and if the person does not sell it to you, he's not welcome back, period.
And let's, it's a good segue, welcoming. Some of the controversies you will know is about people who are not allowed to attend these races, and that's certainly a lightning rod for controversy here in the paddock.
There's 3 people. It's very simple.
Right.
Number 1, pay your bill or you're not welcome. So pay your bill, okay? Number 2, Lowe's doesn't go to Home Depot and set up display, all right? It's very simple. Somebody came to me and said, hey, I'm coming down. We're gonna promote the Rock Cup. We're gonna promote the Rock Motor, and we're gonna promote the Florida Winter Tour. You got a lot of balls.
Yeah.
Got a lot of balls. I said, I don't go to no Rotax race, and I don't go to a Rock race. I don't go to promote my stuff. I said, and that's one thing Paul Zalo did one day when he goes, Tom, I want to come down to the SuperNats. I want to have a big meeting, right? And I said, I don't think that's cool, Paul. And he goes, I respect that. I won't do it then. These guys didn't call, didn't ask.
They just showed up at the track.
No, I see an email, and I'm like, hey, are you seriously going to come in here, walk around here, and try to promote your race? You know something? Promote your own shit, all right? Don't come to my turf. I work really, really hard on my stuff. I said, don't come here, and and walking for the last couple of years, I've been walking around talking smack anyway, so it was a good time. And you know something? I have that right to, if you're going to talk shit about me, it comes back to me. You know how small this industry is. You're talking smack, I don't want you here. Simple as that. And the bottom line is, Chris, you don't invite your ex-wife to the family barbecue. That's the bottom goddamn line.
Right.
It's just like, it's no big deal. As one person is banned because he can't fucking pay his bill, and the other 2 because they're scumbags and going to try to come over here and raise some shit and start some stuff. No, I have the right. Let's not make it a big deal. There's places where you can't go in because, like I said, Kmart, Walmart.
Sure.
It's just like, you got a different gig. That's your gig. Stay with your gig, and good luck, by the way.
Right. And just in that explanation there, you're definitely a polarizing character. Some people love you, and some people they don't get you. And I think, quite honestly, as a friend, again, maybe it sounds biased, but I think in some ways it's just misunderstanding. But you're really, at the end of the day, you're a passionate guy. You love this, and some people misinterpret that as arrogance or just dismissive or whatever. But I'll let you put it in your own words. But I think in some ways there's 2 distinct chapters of SKUSA. There's the one people associate with a guy like a Jim Murley, was a great guy, but a suit and tie and slacks and just a polished character. And there's a guy like you that it's not uncommon to see you walking around in a t-shirt. And
I'm a simple guy. I'm not a. People don't know this. I'm not a surfer. I'm not a steak guy that goes out and eats and spends money. And I grow my own vegetables, grow my own wine. I like just to be at home. I'm a homebody.
But the corporate and the politics and that, it's just not your gig, And I think people they sort of expect you to fit this mold. And I've been in a few meetings with you where people probably envision something, and then here you come, and you walk in and you're in a t-shirt and long hair, and people, I think, sometimes associate that with, they expect you to fit in this cookie cutter corporate VIP, and you kind of march to the beat of your own drum. That's a good thing. But I think it's misunderstood.
It is, but it is misunderstood, and I've said this and I say it again. Guys, there's so many people hating somebody that is successful at somebody. Let's be honest. I mean, go around this country today and look at who is successful in this sport.
Yeah.
You might be looking at him. And do I need to get hated for that? Or do I need to get, it's just like, well, he owns everything, or he's doing everything, or he's printing money. No, I'm not. I spend more money in the sport than anybody else does.
That's right.
And I put it right back in here. If I'm going to see a dollar out of my stuff, it's going to be when I retire, hopefully. Because I do nothing. This is a small business. You don't get loans today, all right? You have to put your money right back where everything is, right? And, it's just people don't know who I am. And, instead of just listening to people stand around yapping like, I just want to mention their names, but I guess I shouldn't. But pick up the phone and call my office.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not on the other damn cell phone, I will talk to you any day. And let's build our own opinions,
Sure.
and just ask me what my business plan is. Ask me where I'm going. Like you said, it's your hobby, but it's a business for me.
That's right.
And this is, it's so easy to judge somebody, but give them a stab at it.
Sure, take a chance.
Be fair.
And we'll kind of wind down here. It looks like they're getting ready to go hot again. But lastly, let's talk a little bit about the future, maybe plans for 2016 and maybe beyond. As people know by now, you've got a television deal that's exciting. It's great. Did you ever think when you started this thing that you'd be putting on a show that's reached by 54 million people on CBS Sports Network?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Excuse me, let me turn this off real quick. No, God, no. And this is what we've always wanted. Is to have this and being able to put it on TV. I mean, we saw the first one, and I mean, it blows my mind.
Right.
I get real sentimental about this because I never thought I could afford it. Never thought I could do it. And again, to people, it's just like, yeah, and he does this, he makes this much. They figure out I make $1 million off of this stuff. No, I don't make $1 million off of this stuff. And by the way, by the time I'm done with this weekend, with all these little, there's a walkway. I don't know if you saw it.
Oh, yeah.
It's $25,000, $30,000. We have to bring in special things because.
Sure, food unions and labor unions and things that people just.
God Almighty is not what you think, by no means. But I do it, and I can't just stop doing it. It's over $300,000 to hit the switch on that. Ask Richard what happened at the Rio and how successful he was at it, because now he does know what it costs to play in this little place.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's different, and it's a big task. But if you look around you today, I mean, you got 500 people here, and it's worth it to me. It's not worth it to me the 8 months up to it, what it takes. But it's worth it to me, like when I look at it now, and it comes to fruition. I mean, it's badass. I mean, it's really cool.
So 2016, we have Phoenix, Indiana, and of course SuperNationals again.
Yeah, I mean the ProCar Challenge, we switched up a little bit. We added NorCal, a little Monterey, so we get the NorCal, SoCal, shifted it around a little bit. And also, I think people need to know for next year and the year after, where we're going or where we're heading. There is no changes. I think the only change we talked about is we're going to have a claiming rule on all the motors. We're adding what they call a mini Swift. It's for the 7 to 9, and it'll be a little bit slower. And people are like, yeah, I hear S4 is Miami next year. No, it's not. But if you think so, call me, right?
Right.
It's not. Yes, I do own Miami. The Honda program is just working fine.
Speaking of, there's some rumors out there that you're looking at KZ, you're going to S4, and then talk a little bit about your partnership with Honda. They've been great partners.
They've been great partners. I mean, we're launching this new F4 program that you'll see more about. Honda's a great company. It's a huge company. I can't beat that with Miami.
Mm-hmm.
We've had built motos. We've had KZs, right? To me, I can't even afford the KZ at my price. Now, let's get something straight. I would rather drive it than anything in the world. I think, when it takes the track, I'm always watching. I love KZ, but no, that's not what we're doing. What we want to do is we're sticking with Honda, and we're trying to pull it back a little bit to slow them down. These guys get a little rambunctious, and they start adding a bunch of stuff, and we just need to pull it back and make it stock again. And it happens all the time. Same guys for the last 20 years. Got the bald-headed guy always pushing. That's his job. I got to pull it back. I want pump gas. He wants C12. There's the difference between it. But my job is to pull it back and make sure that it's affordable. The tag program, as you know, will stay X30. Shifter program will stay on the Honda program. And on the X30 and everything else, nothing's changing for the next 6 years. So for folks that are debating what they're going to do for 16 and 17, nothing's going to change.
Yeah. So last question, Super Sunday, as you know, we're sitting on top, for those that don't know, on top of the Mother's Rig. That's a fully catered VIP hospitality, beer, wine, sodas, catered food, the whole thing. But yet on Super Sunday, you're not going to be in there. You're going to be out on that track watching the racing. And talk a little bit about just the raw passion that you have for this race. And it's you really walk the talk, or walk the walk and talk the talk. It's something that you really, really enjoy doing. And just talk a little bit to kind of wrap this up about what that means to stand out there, this event that you put on, the people that you employ, the months and months of hard work, and just to kind of see it all take shape on Super Sunday when some of these guys take that flag.
Yeah, we used to be 100. There used to be about 100 employees. I just found out yesterday we have 150. So Rob Howden looked at me one day and said, let's just do a budget on this thing. I can't budget it. How do I budget a $30,000 crosswalk or a $20,000 pay this off or pay this? I can't. I don't know where it is. And, it's not been up until like 2 or 3 years ago that I wasn't out there actually flagging, okay? I'm not in here mingling. I put this thing together so everybody can make deals. And the best part is a lot of people make deals to try to put me out of business while I haven't invited them in to the same place. Or they ask me if I can get them a meeting place so they can show the new product while they're trying to promote another series. So it is really, really funny how this stuff works. But yeah, no, usually I'll be out there and watching this go, because this is 8 months of putting this thing together, and it's got to be right. Am I going to make everybody happy here? No, I'm not. But it's over 500 people, and it's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of passion. And my guys that are out there in the red that you see around here, they are just addicted to this. And they do it not for the money.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta make that real straight. They just like, am I in? Am I in? All these guys are flown in from all over the country. They're handpicked. And it's not cheap, by no means, but it is what it is, and that's why it's the largest race in the world.
Sure. And speaking of, I guess we have a little more time. Let's talk a little bit about why we're here. And by here, I mean the Las Vegas Convention Center. One of the rumors thrown about is that you got thrown out of the Rio, or that you, who knows what. But in your own words, kind of what was the decision to come here, and what is the overall feeling of the venue itself and the hotel and that sort of thing?
Yeah, something, guys, when you're going to talk bad about me or talk shit, get it straight. Right out of the mouth of the person that runs it. He said we were demanded too much. No, that's not what we did at all. 2016. Or no, this year, if you go over there right now, they have a show. They booked it 9 years ago. They wanted to throw us over at Bally's, and they said, yeah, we'll just bus you in. Well, bus us in? What are you talking about? We got thousands of people. They tried to up the price to an amazing amount of money. We actually had a contract that waived the fee, and if you notice, the way Westgate has no fee.
Resort fee.
Yeah. They have a $25 fee. So it was more political. They upped the price so high that they ran me out. They didn't want us there.
Sure. Because of their previous commitment that they had.
The previous commitment that we did not know of, and also, while we were taking our stuff down Tuesday morning, they were setting up a 60,000 square foot Monopoly tent. This was all pre-done. It was all, and it's all good. Everything works out for a reason, but get the story straight. And it gave me a chance to go look at something different, and you know how it is. You've been doing it long enough. Same place burns you out. I get more high fives walking down this road, saying, wow, it's way more open. We can grow another maybe 100 people or so, and it's got room for growth. And
to be fair, it's of course it's a first-year event, so there's going to be bumps, literally and figuratively. track configuration, we can play around with it. You do have a lot of space, so we can play around with just different configurations, different.
We can run in the nice thing. I mean, yeah, we had some bumps. We fixed them. We had a tic tac that we took away, or took the tack away. You know, these are things that you learn as you go. You've designed a lot of stuff with me. We work together on this, and it's a very, very safe trap. You know, and it's wide open, and you know, 99% of the guys love it. You know, again, you can't fulfill everybody's wishes, but I'm very, very happy with the track, and I'm happy with how safe it is, and it's fast, and it's sexy.
And I guess with that, so this year we had a pretty cool happening with Fixie Wheels, and first major corporate sponsorship that allowed us to do the television and things like that. Where do you see the next 3 or 4 years? How big can this thing get?
Well, I mean, that's all into the drivers, and it's all into the people. I mean, what people don't understand is if we stick together as a co-op and we get the drivers at 500 and 600 and at the Pro Tour at 300, it can be huge because we're now on TV and people are coming to us, you know. Hey, how do I, you know, how am I part of this? I mean, how many people did the TV, how many did it reach out to? Do you remember?
Yeah, it's well, they have a 54 million reach. And the network is new, so we don't have Nielsen ratings yet, but we will in December. So it'd be interesting to know. I do know that the network was extremely pleased with the viewership, so much so that they're pretty eager to work with us on a you know, much deeper level. So it's exciting, and for me, of course, you know, again, you sign my checks, it's all good, but I look at it kind of like how you look at it. This is just good for the sport. It's just good to get it out there, whether you're in a Rotax or Rock Cup. Ultimately, the rising tide floats all boats. It's just a good thing in general for the sport.
And it is, you know, and to finish that off, numbers don't lie.
Right.
Don't bullshit a bullshitter.